President Trump about to sit down for a bilateral breakfast with Argentine President Mauricio Macri.
We've known each other a long while. We're going to be talking about lots of good things for Argentina, for the United States, including trade.
A pickup truck fleeing Border Patrol flips over after hitting a spike strip right outside the U.S.-Mexico border.
When I asked the mayor, who's to blame for this? Who do you hold responsible? He said the organizers, and he said it strongly.
Those are really criminals because they're dealing with lives. They're dealing with people. That's a federal crime.
The president's former attorney, Michael Cohen, has pleaded guilty to lying to Congress in the Russia probe, saying that he made false statements.
Very simply, Michael Cohen is lying, and he's trying to get a reduced sentence for things that have nothing to do with me.
Well, most families do one tree. You have so many trees here and so many hallways to decorate.
And this year it's a theme of American treasures.
All right, here we go with the Fox News alert. Moments ago, the President of the United States kicked off the G20 summit. Just like he promised to land in Argentina, he has done just that. He has actually met with the Argentinian leader, who, by the way, he says he had a relationship with. He said, by the way, we built the West Side Yards together in New York City.
That's right. His father and said he was a good-looking man. We could say the same about Brian.
Good morning to everyone at home. It is a Friday. Ed filling in for Steve. Steve is down in Nashville because he's going to be live at Kid Rock's steakhouse down there. But you're looking at video of Argentina because the G20 summit is kicking off this morning. We saw video this morning, probably about an hour ago, of the president of Argentina.
And this is a live look now because this is where the president is going to sign that new NAFTA,
USMCA,
if you will, with Canada and Mexico. That will be happening shortly. We'll be going there live, of course.
That's right. So when he was there with the president of Argentina, he said, we've been friends for a long time. I knew his dad. We helped build the Hudson Yards together in New York, one of my biggest accomplishments. He said, we've been longtime friends. He's a handsome man. And he said, little did I know I would be doing business with his son.
So the USMCA is going to be officially signed, and this is that's in a short while. This was happening. That happened
about
a little while ago.
Just a few moments ago.
Ahead
of their breakfast.
And this really kicks everything off. And he's going to be doing business. He's going to be having the major meeting of the day. Will be not of the day, but of the G20 summit. With the Chinese leader. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Now that the Vladimir Putin meeting has been canceled.
Yeah, that's going to be dinner over the weekend with the Chinese President Xi. Obviously, Wall Street looking at it, the world looking at it to see whether or not there's going to be a deal on tariffs.
That's right. It's 7 a.m. The president, our president, the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, and the President of Mexico, Enrique Peña Nieto, this is his last day in office. Those three leaders are going to be there on that world stage participating in the signing ceremony of the USMCA, which is the new NAFTA deal.
So here's what I find a little bit disturbing. This USMCA seems to have widespread agreement that this is a much better deal than the NAFTA deal, which, even if you love NAFTA in the 80s, it's got to be updated in 2018.
All president's critics said he would never be able to rewrite it.
But
you can't redo it, they said.
But what I was hoping to do, and it's called Rove recommended, during the lame duck session, pass it.
Right.
At least bring it up. Because already Senator Elizabeth Warren says, I don't like it. No. Why she doesn't like it? Maybe because Donald Trump is behind it. And other Democrats will go, I don't think so. I want some nuances to worker rights in different nations.
Because after they sign the deal, then each three governments have to ratify that deal. It would be much easier to ratify it if it goes through now during the lame duck session because Republicans obviously have the House and the Senate.
The president on the world stage trying to tackle all these big issues. You can understand why his chief lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, was furious yesterday saying that once again, this is the second time right before a major foreign trip that there was a development in the Mueller case, a new deal with Michael Cohen, the president's former attorney. The president tweeting about this a short time ago because Cohen had admitted he lied to Congress about a Russian real estate deal that never really came together. The president tweeting a short time ago, oh, I get it. I am a very good developer, happily living my life. When I see our country going in the wrong direction, to put it mildly, against all odds, I decided to run for president and continue to run my business, very legal and very cool, talked about it on the campaign trail, lightly looked at doing a building somewhere in Russia, put up zero money, zero guarantees, and didn't do the project witch hunt. So you can see where the president stands this morning.
Michael Cohen said that the Moscow project, he said he was protecting the president when he lied to the Senate Intel Committee. He said that the project was supposed to, he said it ended in January 2016, the talks did. And now he's saying it ended in June of 2016. The president said yesterday, even if we were continuing the talks, it wasn't illegal because I was still running. It was during the campaign. We'll talk to the experts today to find out if that's the case.
So the question is, this Moscow project. Now, if you understand, if you look at what the president's done, if you read the books, Russian Roulette, for example, Michael Isikoff, one of the authors, really comprehensive look at the president was always interested in developing things internationally, especially in Moscow when it was the Soviet Union. In the 80s, he said, this place got tremendous potential. I'd love to build something here. Soviet Union made it impossible. Goes back in the 90s because I'd love to build something here. In 96, starts moving forward with it. Never gets off the ground like many Russian projects. So around 2015, he said, I'd like to build something here in the Moscow the so-called Moscow project. They even outlined what it would be like. Half condos, a little bit of offices, luxury building, roughly the types of locations. There's nothing wrong with that. When you look at Trump organizations, they got 24 domestic properties in 9 different states, 9 international properties in 6 different countries. Yep. They have places in like Qatar. They have a building in Turkey. That's what he was doing for a living. The thing that is different about it, if the president just came out and said, yeah, the Moscow project, I've been talking about it since. I've been doing leases. I've been signing leases while I'm running for president. I've been doing fire codes while I'm running for president. Oh, yeah, I stopped talking about it in June of 2016. Yeah. Instead, he said, I stopped talking about it in January 2016. Yeah. He said the project never got off the ground.
Meanwhile, the special counsel, Robert Mueller, is
but the Michael Cohen situation is Michael Cohen was having contacts with in Moscow. Michael Cohen doesn't get paid, and many people said, unless he pulls off deals like this. So it was moving forward. So there's no smoking gun here. But if the president had been more transparent, just said, yeah, I stopped talking about that in June. I told everyone put that in the side. That's the truth. In January, they actually told us it stopped. But it didn't stop until June.
But Brian, remember, the special counsel Robert Mueller, the mandate is to investigate Russian interference in the 2016 campaign. Everything you just laid out, business deals the president's been working on for years. And so you have to wonder whether this is, how big of a deal this really is. We don't know what else Michael Cohen told the special counsel. He talked to him for something like 90 hours, 70 hours behind closed doors. So there could be more coming. Yet the mainstream media is turning this into, yet again, we've heard this before, the walls are closing in, it's all over. Watch.
You know, today's the first day I actually thought Donald Trump might not finish his term in office.
Really?
I mean, I think this thing is enormous.
All day.
This is the tip of the iceberg. Once he's out of office, this is not going to stop either. Every ambitious U.S. attorney in New York is not going to stop until they take this empire apart.
Today is a good day for Donald Trump to resign.
It actually makes me feel like this must be a much more ominous moment for the White House, because if Mueller is proceeding without being throttled, without being stymied, and he's proceeding at this kind of a pace, rolling out this stuff right now, everything is aiming right at the president personally, and that's got to be very unsettling for them.
It's Shakespearean because somebody who said he would take a bullet for Donald Trump is now pointing the gun at him.
That soundbite from MSNBC was probably the most honest one, saying every prosecutor that wants to get Donald Trump is going to continue for years trying to take this empire down. That's what they're trying to do. They're saying it right out, that they want to take the business down, not just the president.
Here's Alan Dershowitz on the big picture.
The problem is Mueller is straying away from his mandate to find crime, and he's now looking for political sin, building buildings in Moscow, using stolen material from Assange. These are not crimes. He has no authority to be a roving commissioner to find political sins. So far, I don't see any evidence of crimes except for ones he helped to facilitate by getting people to lie in front of his own investigators.
So basically what he's saying is, what they're trying to do, and Andy McCarthy was able to decipher this a little bit yesterday on the radio with us. He said what Mueller's trying to do is try to say, hey, there were some surrogates of the president's talking to Julian Assange about the document dump. There were business dealings with Russia, and he's going to try to tie that together, believe it or not, with the Trump Tower meeting. Now, Michael Cohen never went to Russia. The president never went to Russia. But in these 7-page documents, they talk about possibly doing that. But I'm sure the president could say, yeah, I possibly was going to do a business deal in Germany, another one in Saudi Arabia, another one in Turkey. That's what I was doing all along. But this is, they say, Mueller's going to paint a scenario where the Trump Tower meeting, the Julian Assange contacts, and the Moscow deal was all somehow simmering behind the hacking of John Podesta's email.
Well, I think he liked to be on your radio show so much, he's going to come on our show at some point today. Two things come to mind for me. If Vladimir Putin had some information on our president, wouldn't our president have continued that meeting done at the G20 summit? Would he have canceled that?
Sure.
That's a question that came to mind for me. And also the timing of all of this, because the president just turned in his written responses. And then Michael Cohen does this right after those written responses.
Well, they were sitting on it because he's been talking to Mueller over the summer back in August. So they were waiting for the president. They didn't want to reveal what they had for Michael Cohen. They wanted to get the answers from the president. Then they reveal this. We'll see what other cards they have in the Mueller team. But the bottom line is the president's legal team says there's nothing that Michael Cohen said yesterday that conflicts with the president's answers. That's key.
Yep. Meanwhile, a Fox News alert, Tijuana's mayor taking aim at the organizers of the migrant caravan. The mayor is sitting down for an exclusive interview with Fox News as thousands of migrants in this city are trying to gain entry into the United States.
Griff Jenkins is embedded with the caravan down in Mexico. He joins us live now from Tijuana with more from that one-on-one interview. Good morning, Griff.
Good morning, guys. The mayor calls this a humanitarian crisis. Just look around. We've been pounded with rain overnight. It's in the low 50s. You see a baby stroller, standing water, soaked clothes. It's unbelievable. As we walk along here, we even found in some of this trash, there's medicine, toothbrush, all sorts of important things. But I want you to quickly see this shot, and that is the actual encampment costing the mayor $30,000 a day. The mayor says he's run out of funds. He can't go beyond this weekend without federal funds, and he says that he blames the organizers for this mess.
Those are really criminals because they're dealing with lives. They're dealing with people. It's a federal crime. If they ask me, do you know who they are? No, I don't know, but just look at the films. Look at them and you'll find who are they.
When he says films, part of what he's talking about is that situation on Sunday when they rushed the border. He worries and hopes that doesn't happen again as these people become more desperate. And he says that 6-hour shutdown on Sunday cost the Tijuana people over $6 million. Meanwhile, there's a hunger strike of sorts with a small handful of folks, but that seems to be relatively shut down at this point, guys.
Wow. And Griff, you're going to have more of that interview a little bit later, right?
Yeah, we've got a whole lot. We talked about a whole lot and who he blames and what he says is the real challenge, and that is the fact that when he looks for the bad actors in it, the criminals, it's the humanitarian folks here nationally that will not allow him to ask them who they are.
Griff, thanks.
Guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank
the
you,
whole
Griff.
story down there. Meanwhile, remember the veteran whose Trump 2020 flag was destroyed by vandals?
Yep.
Guess who just sent him a new one?
And wondering where Steve is this morning? He is live down in Nashville with a sneak peek at Kid Rock's new restaurant. Hey, Steve.
That's right. Good morning to you, Ainsley and Brian and Ed. You know, we put out the word, could please people show up in downtown. Who's here for Fox and Friends? Who's here for Kid Rock? Holy cow, what a show. Live from Nashville and New York City, it's Fox and Friends for Friday.
President Trump slamming his former attorney, Michael Cohen, who's now pleading guilty to lying about proposed Trump project in Moscow, the extent and the length in which the negotiations were going on. But does this lead Robert Mueller any closer to collusion? Here to weigh in, former assistant U.S. attorney and Fox News contributor Andy McCarthy. Andy, what changed after the revelations about Cohen saying I lied to Congress?
The only thing that changes, Brian, really is political. It's not legal. During the campaign, the Trump campaign conveyed the message that the president, the now president, had nothing to do with Russia, no deals, no negotiations. And it turns out that they had a major deal and big negotiations. But none of that is a lie to anything that, in the sense of anything that's legally actionable, and none of it shows involvement in Russia's interference in the 2016 election.
Cohen talks about higher contacts with all. We think it's Felix Sater is number 2. Number 1 is Donald Trump. We think it's Felix Sater because he's been the person everyone understands was the connector. So it looks like they had higher up and more talks, but it doesn't show anything. You have a businessman looking to do an international business deal with a country that might have been amenable to that. However, that country we were having a fallout with, and the president's been speaking kindly about, which had a lot of people scratching their head. That plays into it, correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, if they had been forthright about what the nature of the business was, what probably would have happened in the campaign is that would have shed more attention on, you know, the Russian contacts with the Clinton Foundation and the payments that went to Clinton people. Mueller is investigating Trump collusion with Russia, and in connection with that investigation, a number of Trump associates have pled guilty and a number of Russians have been indicted. And what they don't tell you is the Trump people who've pled guilty, that doesn't have anything to do with Russia's interference in the election, and the indictments against the Russians don't have anything to do with the Trump campaign.
And there's no proof that, and there's no saying here that President Trump said to Michael Cohen, lie. He didn't, because it would have appeared in these documents already. Not much has changed, despite what Cohen did yesterday, except for Cohen is trying to get some leniency. Andy, this is just scratching the surface. We'll look forward to talking to you again.
Yep.
You got it. Straight
Thanks,
ahead.
Brian.
You got it. Appreciate you getting up early for us. Controversy swirling over reports the VA would not pay for GI Bill benefits. We've got a big update on that story. Plus, speaking of controversy, there's been a lot of it surrounding the White House Christmas decorations. First Lady Melania Trump sat down with Ainsley Earhardt, who I work with full-time. She'll be giving you that tour next.
Good morning. We're back with a Fox News alert. 3 people are dead and 8 others injured after a truck crashes trying to escape Border Patrol. Agents trying to pull over the truck on a California highway less than 10 miles from Mexico when the driver took off at speeds of 100 miles an hour. The truck losing control, crashing into an embankment after hitting a spike strip. The American truck driver is under arrest. Also breaking right now, a deputy U.S. Marshal is shot and killed trying to serve a warrant. The suspect, Ryan Schlesinger, shooting the officer while barricaded inside a home in Arizona. Oh, my God. Get behind the car. Hurry up. Go. Go inside. Schlesinger eventually surrendered. He was already wanted for stalking law enforcement. The name of the deputy marshal has not been released. Overnight, Vice President Mike Pence meeting the remains of 2 fallen Special Ops troops at Dover Air Force Base. The bodies of Army Captain Andrew Ross and Air Force Staff Sergeant Dylan Elchin returning to the U.S. Those American heroes, along with Army Sergeant First Class Eric Amond, killed by the Taliban in a roadside bombing. 13 U.S. service members have been killed in Afghanistan this year, 5 in this month alone. Let's look at your headlines. Brian, send it to you.
All right. Thanks, Julian. Meanwhile, the White House this week unveiled its Christmas decoration, and Ainsley Earhardt, who I know very well, got a behind-the-scenes look.
And I know you very well, too, Brian Kilmeade. That's right. We had a chance to go inside the White House with the First Lady to see just how beautiful everything was in person. We got a first-hand look with the First Lady, Melania Trump.
Hi, Mrs. Trump. Hello. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Do you mind walking us through and telling us about each room?
Of course, yes. So here we are in the Cross Hall and Grand Foyer. And this is representing, you could see the color red. It represents the bravery, heart, and patriotism. So here we go to the East Room, that it's decorated in blue. And then we will see later on the State Room. And here we are, this is red, blue, and white.
Very patriotic.
And it's patriotic, and it's remind us of American flag.
Okay, so let's walk this way, and we're going to see the decorations.
We have thousands of people coming through here and see the decorations. So it's very exciting. So here we are arriving in the East Room. This represents diversity of the cities in United States.
Oh, in the manger, the crèche, that's beautiful.
Yes, this is the 51st year that it's displayed here.
You have a lot of volunteers that you rely on.
We have over 6,000 applications and around 230 volunteers came and did in 6 days everything.
And I understand that you make it a priority to choose volunteers that are in the military or represent military families?
Correct, that as well. And we start planning in July.
Well, most families do one tree. You have so many trees here, and so many hallways to decorate and rooms to decorate.
And
it's a big
every room, it's different. Every room has a different representation. And this year, it's a theme of American treasures.
I love this. I love how you've incorporated some fruits and some vegetables.
Yes, this is the harvest room. It's a green room and it's a harvest room. And a variety of vegetables and fruits and grains on it. So it represents what America produces.
Our farmers. How are you guys celebrating Christmas?
We will be in Palm Beach celebrating
North Carolina, right?
North Carolina this year. And this is the official Christmas tree, White House Christmas tree, and it's 18 feet tall.
Wow. And all the states are represented?
All the states and regions, yes, territories.
And what will you get the president this year for Christmas?
Oh, I didn't think that. I'm too busy.
Do you exchange gifts?
Yes, we do sometimes, yes, but I'm so busy now, and it's very important that I focus on this project now.
I think you have a good excuse.
Yeah. This is the decorations. They represent how each child can excel on their own path through education, arts, sport, technology, and then you could see on the mantle the Be Best ornaments.
Yes.
And also we have 2 wreaths with Be Best pencils.
Where are we going now?
We're going to stateroom. So this is the room that have national symbols. If you could see the 2 of bald eagles. Here is the famous gingerbread house.
This is a gingerbread house?
Yes.
A white gingerbread house.
White gingerbread
a replica
house.
of the White House.
Correct. And what is very special on this, because it's the first year that is done, a national mall.
I'll leave you with one last question. Do you have a Christmas message for America?
I do. I wish everyone Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, prosperous and peaceful New Year.
You saw the soccer ball on one of the Christmas trees.
Is that for Barron?
Yes, that was for Barron. And that was in the video that she posted on Instagram because she, did a walkthrough on Instagram as well.
Yeah, excellent. And he's on the DC United Academy team.
He's supposed to be great.
Yeah, he's 11 years old. He's already 6.
He's about taller than his parents already. And it's funny, there are people on social media who were kind of going after the decoration. I mean, they will criticize literally
criticizing
anything.
The wreaths, the Be Best wreaths that
walk
were made
through
out of
there,
pencils.
and it's absolutely beautiful for any president. I've covered, when I covered Bush, Obama. The people around the White House, they always do a wonderful job. We should celebrate it regardless of who's
president. Well, she has said in some of her interviews that she doesn't trust everyone within the White House. And I said, is there anyone in the White House in the administration you want to give a bag of coal to? And she said, yeah, there are. I said, you want to tell me who they are? And she said, no, I'll just leave it at that.
Maybe next year I'll tell you. All right, a live look right now in Argentina. Meanwhile, we're staying on top of the story. In less than an hour, the president will sign the new trade deal between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. We will go there live.
Plus, we sent Steve to Nashville it's a round-trip ticket, though. He's live in Music City, getting a behind-the-scenes look at Kid Rock's new restaurant. They have food and they have people.
Well, we'll see how he does.
He doesn't know his mic is open right now.
There we are. It's Fox News Alert.
Rock and roll off the stage and into the kitchen. Opening up his very own bar and restaurant, yes, in Nashville.
We're going to have a dance party in the kitchen.
Yeah, there are so many celebrities with big-time restaurants, but I cannot wait to find out about this one. Our own Steve Ducey got an inside look at Kid Rock's Honky Tonk Rock and Roll Steakhouse after paying the cover charge for the grand opening. Steve.
Hey, Steve.
That's right. This place is great, and everybody's awake and ready to rock and roll. Now, thank you. Now, the reason I am in Nashville is because tonight, Kathy and I are going to sign our cookbook. We're going to be at Franklin, 6 p.m. at the Walmart. Everybody's invited. And then tomorrow we're going to be down in the Birmingham, Alabama area. We're going to be signing the cookbook at 3 o'clock at the Walmart in Gardendale. So if you're around, please come by and say hello. Now, the crowd today is amazing. So many people drove through the night. They heard us talk about it. They'd love to meet Kid Rock, who will be here live. We have somebody right over there. You're from Chicago? She came from Chicago. We got somebody who came from New York. We got somebody who drove from St. Louis. Who drove more than, let me hear your voices. Who drove more than 100 miles to be here? Actually pretty substantial. Okay, so in addition to Kid Rock and the restaurant, and everybody's going to wind up with a great big tomahawk steak in a little while, let's talk about the news of the day with some of these folks. And what's your name?
Adam.
Adam, okay. Adam, what is the, and everybody think about this, what's the #1 issue of importance to you these days?
Right now for me it's the economy.
Why?
Well, small businesses especially, they're the backbone of our country. Right now there are 166,000 small business jobs available, and those people are the ones that support not only our local communities, but support the country. Right. They make people like me look good every day. This beard, Chattanooga Beard Company, small business in Chattanooga, Tennessee, provides me, I purchase from them, and they help me look good.
Who thinks the economy is the #1 issue? It's right up there. All right. This lady right over here, you're coming to us from Chicago.
I am coming from Chicago.
What's your #1 issue?
I'd say the interest rate.
What about it?
Just not knowing what's going to happen with it and with it changing all the time, and just looking forward to next year because it has an impact on everything.
Yeah.
And,
what about the president who has kind of been beating up the Fed head on the Twitter saying, hey, lay off the interest?
Yeah.
You like that?
I don't know. We'll have to see where it goes.
We'll have to see where it goes, indeed. All right, let's come on over here. Let's come all the way over here. I was talking to this guy a little while ago. He is actually a founding member of Fox Nation. What's your name?
Ron Coulter.
Ron, what's the #1 issue for you?
Immigration, for sure.
Why is that?
The Tijuana situation is just out of control. So we got to take care of those people and send them home and come back and do it the right way.
Well, what is it that is going on, that the federal government in this country is doing that you think is good and what is bad?
Well, I think that the fact that we do have the troops on the border taking care of things and making sure they're protecting us and security. So there's nothing bad wrong at all.
All right. Do you like the president's approach?
I do, absolutely. All right. And more people need to sign up for Fox Nation, too.
Listen to that guy. These guys are from Old Hickory? Old Hickory. All right. Named after the guy that Brian Kilmeade wrote a great book about.
Yeah.
What's the #1 issue for you?
Oh, my goodness. I support the president, no doubt about it. And I think the world economy, how President Trump stands up for the United States versus China, whoever else we're trading with.
All right. Are you here for Fox and Friends or?
Yes, I am for both of them.
Okay,
yes.
and Kid Rock.
Yes, thank you.
Is anybody here for the food? Yeah. Okay, that's good. Because, AJ, hold that for a second. This place, Brian, Ainsley, and Ed, this place is famous for the tomahawk steak. And by the way, this is 1,000 degrees. Everybody's going to get one of those for showing up today. Delicious. Anyway, a busy day. If you are in the area here in Nashville, stop by 3rd and Broadway. Kid Rock's coming up in the next hour.
Yeah, the place looks amazing.
Yeah,
Great job.
great crowd.
Sounds like a new recipe for the paperback edition of the Happy Cookbook, right? The Kid Rock tomahawk steak.
That's
I love
right.
it.
All right, 21 minutes before the top of the hour, Jillian was asked to come to work today to give us the news, and she said yes.
I did.
Happy Friday.
Yes, it's Friday. Okay, let's get you caught up on this story that we've been following for a couple weeks now, and this is an update. Top Veterans Affairs officials are slamming an NBC report claiming veterans will not be reimbursed for underpaid GI benefits. VA Secretary Robert Wilkie says every student veteran will receive their GI benefits in full. Thousands of veterans did not receive their full GI benefits by the August deadline. The agency blames a software glitch. Payments are expected by January. A 12-year-old boy faces felony charges for giving his classmates pot-laced gummy bears. At least 5 students rushed to the hospital after eating the drugs at a middle school near Tampa, Florida. It's unclear exactly how he got his hands on the gummies. Police say his parents are cooperating. Medical and recreational marijuana is illegal in Florida. Do you remember the veteran who said vandals burned his Trump 2020 flag? Well, guess what? He's getting a new one, courtesy of Eric Trump. The president's son tweeting, quote, "Gus, your replacement flag is in the mail. If the person is classless enough to do it again, just let us know. We will send you as many replacement flags as you need." Gus Klein says someone took his flag from his Vermont yard and set it on fire. So I'm sure that Gus will be very happy to receive his new flag.
That's awesome.
It's beautiful.
And they said we'll keep sending you more.
Send you as many as you need.
All right.
Yep.
No matter who you follow, you shouldn't get it torn up. What is going on?
This is America. Come on. It's become a yearly tradition on Fox and Friends to help prep for Santa's rappel down a 22-story skyscraper in Stamford, Connecticut.
And that's where we find our own Janice Dean. She's going to join us now with a weather report. Are you
morning.
going to do it, Janice?
Stay tuned. We'll see. I will admit that I have some tummy issues right now. A little nervous. I don't know if it's because it's 30 degrees out here or because I'm very frightened. But stay tuned in the 7 a.m. hour to see if I will rappel down this building 22 stories, 350 feet above ground. Okay, let's take a look at the weather, shall we? It is 31 here in Stamford, Connecticut, and it is cool across the Northeast. We do have a storm system that's going to move across the northern plains and the Midwest. Winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings are up. We could get several inches of snow, blowing snow, and the potential for blizzard conditions yet again this weekend for areas that saw a blizzard last weekend. So that's going to be a big story. Also, the potential for not only snow, but severe storms along the Gulf Coast. The Arklatex, we could see the threat for large hail, damaging winds, and even some isolated tornadoes. So we'll be watching that forecast. For now, I'm going to try to say some prayers, and this is my first official rappelling occurrence. And I just asked somebody if I'll be okay, and he asked, "Is this your first time?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, that'll be interesting."
And by the way, the
that has
person
to make you feel good.
you're going to be helped. You're going to be helped by Brian Cashman, general manager of the New York Yankees. So you are indeed in good hands.
Good hands. That's right.
Just make sure you're buckled in,
Okay,
strapped
good.
in, and
All right.
harnessed.
Buckled in. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, pull it tight.
Bye. You'll do great. Thanks, James.
All right.
All right, a Fox News alert. Tijuana's mayor blasting a group behind the caravan in an exclusive interview with Griff Jenkins. He is live down in Mexico next.
Plus, the media going wild over the reports of the Russia story. Molly Hemingway says the media will buy into anything to take down Trump. She's live next hour.
And Google CEO about to get grilled on the Hill as controversy swirls around the search giant's growing scandals. How you can protect your privacy, that's coming up with Kurt the Cyber Guy.
The Mexican president is now honoring Jared Kushner for his work on the new trade deal between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico.
It's called the Order of the Aztec Eagle. It's the highest honor in Mexico, we're told. The president is expected to sign the deal at 7 a.m. President Trump, that is. We're going to bring it to you live, obviously. So that was just a quick turnaround of some video there. Now that is a live picture of the actual room where they're going to sign this new trade deal.
You can see the desk with the 3 chairs, the 3 podiums, because that's where President Trump, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, and Enrique Peña Nieto, the President of Mexico, will
Outgoing
stand or
president,
sit.
as you noted.
That's right, and sign that deal. Yeah, today's his last day in office, the President of Mexico. Tomorrow, the new leader takes over.
Think about all the president's critics who said he campaigned on the idea of a new NAFTA. You can't do this. You're not going to get Canada and Mexico to the negotiating table, let alone getting a new deal. He got it, and they're about to sign it.
That's right.
All right. Also breaking right now, related to all this, the mayor of Tijuana sitting down for an exclusive interview with Fox News. He says he has never seen anything like it when it comes to the caravan. And right now, pouring rain creating crisis conditions for that migrant caravan. They are camping out in his city, and he's not happy about it.
Griff Jenkins is embedded with the caravan down in Mexico. He joins us live from Tijuana with more from his one-on-one interview. Griff?
Good morning, guys. Juan Manuel Gastelum, the mayor of Tijuana, calls this humanitarian crisis. I'm going to show you why, but just a second. Breaking here, there's a helicopter. If I could just pan for 2 seconds. This is the lowest we've seen the CBP Border Patrol helicopters flying. The reason why is, talking with our Mexican fixer now, is one of the 40 or 50 people that tried to jump the fence were not able to do so. We're told from this group that they're looking for at least 20 that got across that wall right now. Now, let me show you the crisis crisis that's going on in this because of the rain, because of the number of people in here, 6,000, many of them sick with the flu, with respiratory infections, HIV, AIDS, TB, chicken pox. They're infested with lice. And Mayor Gastelum says he's furious at the organizers, and one of the people he holds responsible is the group Pueblos Sin Fronteras, who's been helping him all along the way. He thinks the leader should be arrested. Listen.
This person who says he's from Pueblos Sin Fronteras, he's saying that he's one of the leaders of the caravan. Well, why don't the federal police say, hey, come over here. You're charged with putting people in risk. Let's take care of them in a legally way.
And circling literally just above us now, we're going to get out and see if we can find the ones that tried to cross this wall. But at the end of the day, Mayor Gastelum says ultimately he blames also the president of Honduras for letting them come in the first place. And he has a message for the incoming president of Mexico. Listen.
You have a message for President Fernando, the Honduran president.
Yes. Get yourself back to work. Do things right. If you were elected or you're imposed by someone, well, do what they expect to do from you.
What would your message be for the incoming Mexican president, López Obrador?
It's a problem he must solve as soon as he gets into office.
Now, Mayor Gastelum says that he cannot afford to foot this bill past this weekend as people get more desperate, and we'll see more attempts to go over that wall. Guys.
All right, Griff, all over this story. We'll be getting back to you throughout the show.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much, Griff.
A lot more happening. Google CEO about to get grilled on a Hill as controversy continues to swirl around the search giant's growing scandals. How you can protect your privacy, that's next.
And we are live down in Nashville at Kid Rock's new restaurant. More with Steve from Music City coming up.
They're fired up down there.
Google's CEO set to testify on Capitol Hill next week amid a firestorm of criticisms from biased search results to major privacy concerns.
Consumer organizations accusing Google this week of tricking people into letting them track your location. This is a big deal.
Yeah, so how can you make sure your privacy is secure? Let's ask Kurt Knudsen, the cyber guy.
Good morning.
Ainsley, Ed, good morning to you guys.
Big deal.
It's a big deal. You know, the Netherlands actually where this complaint is coming out, and Google denies it, saying, hey, no, we didn't change anything, but they beg to differ. And it just reminds me, you know what? Sometimes we click things that we don't know we click that do change our privacy online. And when it comes to the behemoth Google, I want to know what they know about me. And here's a real easy way to do this. If you go, no matter what product you have, whether you have an Android phone or you just use Google or Gmail, you typically have an account, and you can go on to your account settings, and in that there's a privacy checker. We bring it up right there, and you can see exactly how your data is being used and how your settings are right now. And right now you can see what web and apps have access to your data, and you can go through and see what devices have access to your data. And you just want to always have a quick look at this and see how much of your life are you just giving away to the world.
Did you find anything that shocked you?
Nothing changed on mine, but I check mine a lot because, quite frankly, I don't trust these people. I really don't. I think they mean well, but there's no doubt about it that they're selling our souls and our privacy down the river so that they can make a buck. And all that money filters into Silicon Valley and into stockholders, and they don't know my name. They could care less of my name unless it's going to make them money.
Now, there was some months ago, the Senate Intelligence Committee, that Google CEO wouldn't go there, so they had an empty chair to try to embarrass them, shame them into coming in. What kind of pressure are they going to face now? They obviously feel like they need to do some PR work, and that's why they're showing up.
They've got to. They've got to. Look at this. You've got a behemoth that is now running virtually all of the internet, and they have our lives wrapped up into them. Hey, they've done a lot of great things for us, but could the three of us start any sort of tech thing and expect any fairness on Google? Pull up any search for any restaurant in any town, and what you'll find is the majority of the information that is presented to you is owned by Google. We would never have a chance of competing against that. So watch for Congress to start asking about antitrust issues, which the president has already indicated
Yep.
He's interested in looking at that when it comes to Google. And then also, let's look at transparency. How do search results happen? And what rights do you have with your privacy in this giant behemoth that now
big questions? We've
controls our lives?
reached out to Google. We haven't heard yet back from them, but they're going to get a chance to speak before Congress, and we'll hear them.
It's going to be interesting.
Thanks, Kurt.
Kurt. We're moments away from President Trump signing that new trade deal with Canada and Mexico. We're live down in Argentina coming up next.
Plus, Molly Hemingway, Star Parker, Geraldo, and Stuart Varney. They are here live.
Good morning to you in a Fox News alert. Moments ago, President Trump heading to a bilateral breakfast with Argentine President Mauricio Macri at the G20 summit.
We've known each other a long while. We're going to be talking about lots of good things for Argentina, for the United States, including trade, including military purchases and other things. But we have a lot to talk about, a little bit old times, about 95% business, I would say. But this is a great honor to be with you. You are my friend, long time, great family, and you're doing a fantastic job. I want to congratulate you. Thank you.
Really one of the president's lighter-hearted meetings he'll have. After the breakfast, the president will meet with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto. They're going to sign that much-anticipated trade agreement that is meant to replace NAFTA.
And the president calling off a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin over mounting tensions in Ukraine. And before we go, take a look at this terrifying new video from the deadly campfire in California.
That's right, a sheriff's deputy turning on his body camera when he thought that he had just moments left to live.
Wow, the deputy able to find the nurses and flag down a bulldozer who gave them a ride out to safety.
I was back in the peak of that fire a couple weeks ago. On some good news, though, to start your Friday off, an officer springing into action to save the life of a baby girl.
Baby is breathing, constant breathing.
Florida officer Jorge Gause saving the 6-day-old, and she's doing well.
That's amazing. All right, we got to go. See you later.